just to give you a quick look of and LA. And lots and lots of scripts. And then even some artwork that I've had printed, fan artwork. That's one of the posters. And other fan artwork that was printed, and I've got a lot more than that. I've got that whole box right there of stuff. Hey! So, okay, just give me a second, guys. I'm new to this, so I may seem like a bumbling fool for a little bit. But let me answer a couple of these questions. So, what's it like to work with the cast and crew on Dominion? You know, it's been a dream come true, really. I mean, the cast, the crew are all so passionate about the show. They all believe in the concept and the ideas and the stories we're telling. I think everyone has just worked their butts off, you know, tirelessly all season, working the long hours and really, wow, there's a lot going on in this screen. Anyway, it's an amazing experience, and I feel so blessed and lucky to work with the people that I do, the actors, the cast, the directors, my producing director, Darren Sarafian, Chris Egan and Tom Wisdom, all the actors. It's really an amazing experience. And I really couldn't say enough about them. I mean, I know I'm biased, but our cast and crew are phenomenal. What's it like working in South Africa? You know, it's a dream. You know, the people are really... Okay, you guys are already asking questions, so let me just get through a few more of these. And then and I'll start answering those. But what's it like working in South Africa? So South Africa, you know, it's a long ways away. So being in LA in the writers' room and working on the scripts and kind of conceptualizing the show, and the crew and the cast being 9 hours ahead, it's a little tough. But South Africa itself is a wonderful place to shoot TVs and movies. The crews are all passionate. They all work their butts off. They're really committed. There's a very much a can-do attitude. They don't complain. They work long hours. They're very, very dedicated. And in terms of the resources, Cape Town has so many varied geography and locations, places to shoot, that the cool thing about being there is a lot of shows, a lot of movies are not filmed there. It's not like Canada or the U.S. where some places have been used quite a bit. Cape Town is actually new to the American TV audience, so I think it's really gives our show a feel like it's not the usual thing. They're actually seeing locations and places that they're not used to seeing, and that's a real benefit for the show. What has been your favorite scene to write so far? There's so many. It's like picking a favorite of your children. I think um, they all mean different things thematically and also from a story sense of just my experience or um, the ideas that I have. Um, so it's really difficult to pick one. Um, Certainly stories are more, some stories I gravitate to more than others. And so, um, wow, the questions keep coming in. Sorry, guys, I'm a little distracted. This is the first time I've ever done this. Um, so I would say so many, and it's hard to pick one. But what was your favorite scene in season one? I do have a favorite scene, or at least one of them, which is a lot of the themes in the show were about absentee fathers, the ultimate absentee father, which is um, God leaving. But every single character in the show is affected in some way by either um, a relationship with a father or mother that's either distanced or strained or abandoned. The archangels with their father, or Claire and her father, Ryson, or David and William. And so they're all informed. That's really a big theme of the show: brothers and fathers and sons and fathers and daughters. So one of my favorite scenes from season one is really probably the scene with Michael and Gabriel, when Michael comes to visit Gabriel um, in the jail cell. Um, Again, there's so many scenes that mean so much to me, but that's one that jumps to mind. There's a connection that the two actors had, Tom and Carl, that was really exceptional. I think we've really built on that this season and built that relationship even more. So I think in season two, I think you guys will be surprised and you'll be happy with their character growth. What characteristics were you looking for in an actor for the roles of Gabriel and Michael when you created the show? An ethereal quality, an epicness to them, a feeling that they were other or separate from us, and yet at the same time relatable, emotional. Um, you know, Michael is very much the logical, colder, more controlled one, and yet he has an incredible amount of depth and emotion underneath all that, whereas Gabriel is very much, all emotion, all kind of burning hot. And that balance is really nice, and Carl and Tom have done, I really couldn't have asked for better actors to play those two roles. They're both perfectly suited for them. It really is amazing. Were you ever pranked on the set of Dominion, or have you ever pranked someone on set? No, I have not been. So you'll probably have to ask one of the actors to see if they have a story like that. What's your favorite relationship storyline to write on Dominion? They all, as I said, they're all kind of my children, and it's the same with all the writers on staff. I feel like we love them all, and we all pour our hearts into all the relationships and all the characters. So I don't think I really have one. I think it is a family, and they all have different roles to play, and all have a very important place in the mythology and the stories. So I think they all matter, and they all are loved by me and by all of our writers. So that's kind of how I view all of our characters. Will we get to know more about Michael and Gabriel's father this season? Yes. As I said, we really build out that arc between the two brothers, so it's a big part of season 2, and we do get to learn a lot more about the past, the archangels, the father, his abandonment, what that means. Yeah, we dig in much more. What's the most challenging part of writing for Dominion? You know, it's not challenging for me. Um, I I'm very comfortable in the world, which I guess I should be. I don't think it's an easy show to write. You know, I talked a lot to our writers on staff about what it's like to write for the show, and you know, I got really lucky in that I do have a whole group of writers on staff who all get the show, and they can write it. So um, I'm lucky in that way, but in terms of the kind of show it is, the mythology, the serialized nature, I wouldn't say it's an easy show. You kind of are always starting from scratch. You're not following a formula or a close-ended procedural. You really do have to just go for mythology and character and what stories are cool to tell. And I've got writers that all know how to write the show, which is great. And I'm just going to answer a couple more of these, and then I'll start answering your questions, guys. What was the most challenging scene to film this season? You know, it's a big show. We block shoot, and we do 2 episodes in, you know, basically a little over 2 weeks time. So it's a very, very challenging show for how big and how epic it is. So I think I would say it's they're all kind of difficult. Every episode is complicated in its own way, but the team we have over there is exceptional, and they always rise to the task. What's it like creating characters based on figures from mythology that have been around for hundreds of years? Was it fun? Was it daunting? You know, Michael and Gabriel reoccur in mythology and religion all throughout the world. They're represented in almost every religion on the planet. Angels are very much a part of just about every culture on the planet. So I didn't feel any you know, requirement to do any specific thing. You know, the story began with the movie Legion, and from there it kind of grew organically into its own thing. So there wasn't any real parameters that I had to hit. It really, once I figured out that the story was about an absentee father and about the effect that that has on all of his kids, not only angels being humans. Once I had that kernel, then I knew that then I just built from there, and then it was just a matter of building out the mythology. I think in terms of the angels, since there's so much written about angels and all the different kinds of angels and the tiers of angels, it was important to keep it simple. I knew I had to do that. But it was just fun. I mean, world building is one of the things I really like to do as a writer. So for me, it was a blast. Um, okay. So these are the fan questions that I've been sent. So now let me see. Does anybody have any questions? And I'll answer some coming up on the screen. Let me see if I can do another one while we're waiting. Oh, here we go. Which actor would you like to work with? Again, I guess is the question. I would like to work with all of them. I think they all represent different skill sets, different. They're all charismatic in different ways. They all bring different things to the show, and it's really I'm very lucky. So I would work with all of them again. What's it like working with Bill Brown on the music this season? Bill is amazing, and he's giving the show a very mythological, epic, but also grounded feel this season. And it's really been an amazing experience. He's a fun guy, and he loves all the music that I do from when I was growing up. You know, all the film scores, the Star Wars and the Superman and the Indiana Jones, and we really hit it off when we first met in terms of musical kind of foundation for the show. Okay, let's see if there's any more. Are you thinking about the storyline for season 3? How does that affect the story arc for season 2? You know, we really just blew it out this season. I have a lot of ideas for season 3, season 4, season 5. I did that really when I first began. And a lot of those ideas have made it into season 2. And it's a matter of just, you know, we told the best stories that we could possibly tell, and we really didn't worry about season 3. So, although I've got some big overarching macro ideas, and I know where a lot of the stories are going, a lot of it will just happen when we get back together if we're lucky to have a season 3. Love new costumes. Who did them? There's a fantastic costume designer, Deanna Silius. She did District 9, Elysium, Chappie, a lot of big films. I think this might be her first TV show, but she did the costumes, and she is really an inspired artist who brought texture and a grounded quality, but also a very cool, hip quality to the costumes that I think is really showing in the new season. So let's see. Any others? see if there's another one. Oh, here we go. Will you be giving away signed posters for fans? I would love to. I've got one that has been signed um, by everybody, and I'm trying to figure out a way to raffle it off that will work. So I am going to do some stuff this season that should be fun, and the cast will all do all kinds of stuff. Um, um, well, thank you. It just said, love the fact that you include us and always answer your questions. Yeah, I enjoy it as much as you guys do, and I know it's an important part of a show now, and the relationship that the cast and the producers have with the fans, and I love it, and I think you guys are going to find um, you're going to get to interact with Darren Sarafian, who's the EP, Bill Brown. All the actors are going to be on, Chris and Tom and Roxanne and Tony and Carl and Shivani and Luke and everybody. And it's gonna be a fun season. I think we're even gonna outdo what we did last season in terms of uh, the fun and the live tweeting. Oh, there's Whip Girl. Yay. Yes, we're going to be at SDCC this year, and what it is a screening of the first two episodes. We're going to have episode 1 and 2 for the audience at Comic-Con. Were you surprised when you saw the amount of viewers Dominion received in the first few weeks? I was. You hope people show up, but it was a really nice surprise, and we did really, really well that season, and it was all because of you guys. The fans really showed up and really supported the show, and the social media interaction was amazing. It was incredible. Well, that's good. It makes us giddy when you all favorite our retweet or retweet our stuff. Well, that's good. Yeah, hopefully Twitter does help with new viewers. I think it does. It's interesting. I haven't been as involved on Facebook, but I was looking on Facebook, and there's huge amount of interaction and stuff going on Facebook. The Dominion site on the Facebook page is really, really active and has got a lot of people liking and following. So that was great to see. How much of their own stunt work are the actors allowed to do? They're allowed to do as much as they feel comfortable with, but also that's safe. There's all kinds of insurance and riders that have to be respected. So we're very careful with them, but where it's possible and where they want to do, we definitely allow them to do their own stunt work. And Tom and Chris and Carl, they do a lot, and they're always happy to do it, and they're great about it. Can you talk about pitching the show? Um, yeah, what we did was Scott Stewart, who was the director and the original writer of Legion, and executive producer David Lancaster, they had both done the film. They had carved out smartly the uh, smartly. Someone just wrote something funny. Um, they had smartly carved out the TV rights, so they went out looking for a writer that could basically turn it into a TV show. They interviewed a bunch of writers. I went up for the job. I got it. They liked my ideas. We had a piece of concept art made. Basically, the shot was of Alex in his car racing towards the wall with angels chasing him, and you were kind of looking. The perspective was you were looking at the wall, and the wall was firing at you, and then the car was driving, towards the wall. And we went out with that concept art. I did a full pitch, um, and we went to a lot of places. We had a lot of interest, and sci-fi stepped up and bought it. And from there, it was really just like a smooth road. We went to outline, we went to script, we went to pilot. It was pretty. I was really blessed, and the people at Sci-Fi have been fantastic. Thank you. Um, will there be new merchandise for fans now that the show is established? I'm hoping so. I'm nagging them about getting it out. I noticed the other day there was some Z Nation stuff out, so I'm going to stay on top of that because I would love to get that out. Yeah, it's. Can you talk about new places we'll see this season? Yes, this season is going to be two new worlds. One is New Delphi, which we started hearing about it in the pilot, and 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 it's really an important part of the mythology. We're not only going to be there, we're also going to be in a small town called Mallory, Alabama, where seemingly the war just kind of passed over and we don't really understand why. Um, and I am going to do more of these. And so we're going to open up the world to those two new places for this season, and then in future seasons we're going to continue to expand the world and grow it from there. New archangels coming. That would be a can't really talk about that. Will our shows always be earthbound, or will we ever see heaven? Heaven is tricky. It's so subjective and it's so big of a concept. I'm not sure I'd want to tackle that. I think it's better to keep it grounded, and have it be in all of our imaginations, what it could be like or what it is. Certainly, Gabriel and the archangels and the higher angels and even the lower angels will reference it, and it's obviously a part of their experience, but showing it, I think, would be a little tricky. Yes, that was my typical Vaun deflection. Okay, let's see. Are there any other questions? Care to shed some light on who placed their hand on Michael's shoulder in the finale? Yeah, that was a scene that we shot, and my intention was that it would be Lucifer. And we were going to basically go out of season one with that push off. We decided against it. We decided not to go that route. The marketing people, no fault of their own, there was a disconnect, and so they released that photo. And so immediately it went everywhere, and then, we had to have it pulled down or whatever, but that was just, we did shoot it. I did plan on doing that, but then I just decided not to go that route for the end of the season, so we didn't end up using it. How long on average does it take to film one episode? It takes, we do them very quick. We block shoot them, meaning we shoot 2 episodes at a time, and we do them in 15 to 16 days, and that's like a bullet. That is incredibly fast. And kudos to our crew and our cast for putting it out at really lightning speed. And when you watch these episodes and you see how big they are, then that time frame becomes even more astonishing. Yeah, today, are you totally done filming now? Yes, today is the last day. So the crew, it's 9:20 at night there, so they're done, or almost done. So it's done, which is amazing. Do you have a favorite episode from season 2? We're still breaking them and not breaking them, but editing them and doing everything to them. But no, I love them all, and they all have different qualities and different rhythms, different themes. It's pretty. I'm happy, really happy with all of them, all the episodes. It's definitely our show. It's really the heightened version. We really took it to the next level. Is it hard to say goodbye to everyone when you wrap? Yeah, it is. And I think it's really tough on the cast and the crew to say goodbye to each other. I would imagine there's a lot of tears today and a lot of hugs and smiles and it's tough. And for me, because I spend the majority of my time in the writer's room and not on set, it's the same for me when we broke the writer's room and that was over. But I went to South Africa in the last couple of weeks. I was there for 12 days, and even I was like, really sad when I left, and I can only imagine what it's going to be like for them. I do wish I could be there on set more. I wish it was closer because I would be there a lot. The 29 hours to get there is a real bar to. It really is a bar to entry. It makes it hard for me to go, and it's just tough. It's just such a long ways to go. So I do wish it was closer, but in terms of the quality of what we do there, it's well worth it. How many episodes are there this season? There are 13. Oh, thank you. Yeah, that was a fun. That was one of the last days. That was the last day I was there. I took that picture of me and of Carl and I. That was fun. That was a great day. And there are 13 episodes. What is a major source of inspiration for you when you're writing? I um I'm inspired by a lot of things. Um, I read a ton, my family, my friends, my experiences, but really, I always just spend a lot of time when I write just imagining. I just put myself in the shoes of whatever world or whatever character I'm writing about, and I just make stuff up. So I think I think I've been inspired by everything in life, and it affects you, so on a subconscious level, it affects you, and it just comes out. Do you have more behind the scenes picks for us? Yes, we actually, this season, we put a team run by Tim Shaw in Cape Town on it, and he and his guys literally took reams and reams and reams of behind the scenes footage, videos, uh, slow motion. No, what's it uh, when something's built? You get to see it over the course of like 2 days, but you see it in a minute. I can't think of the term. I'm blanking. But anyway, it's we've got that of the sets being built. It's really incredible. If you were part of the show, which side would you like to be on? I'd love to be an angel. It'd be nice to be the chosen one and be a badass, but having wings there's nothing like that, right? Time lapse. There you go. Time lapse. That's what it is. Yeah, so people should check out Sci-Fi's website for the behind the scenes videos. A lot of them are up there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop a lot of pictures for each episode that I have as we live tweet, and the actors are going to do the same because they all took, shots of themselves hanging out, and so there's going to be more behind the scenes than we had last year. Lots more. Will we see you on the show? I don't think so. Maybe in a season 3, maybe I'll show up as a night ball, but I don't really have a lot of interest in doing that. I feel weird about it. Season 3. Let's hope. Yeah. I guess I could have been an 8 ball when I was back there, but I was so jet lagged it didn't even occur to me. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I thought the 8 ball could be fun. The teeth and the eyes and the veins. but I was a zombie. I've never had jet lag like that. It's such a long trip, and I was only there for 10 days, I think, or 11 days, so it was a quick turnaround. What are you looking forward to at SDCC? The reaction of everybody when they see the episodes. They're going to get to see two episodes in a row, one and two. They're basically edited together, so they almost seem, they're just like a movie. And it's such a, it's such an incredible version of our show this season. I'm just really excited to see how people react. And then also walking the floor the next day with my wife and doing all the, buying some comics and just doing some stuff. It's, I love it. So I'll really enjoy it. Lots of badass women. More badass women this season? Yes. We've got a lot of cool women. As always, I love women, and women characters make great storytelling. So yeah, there'll be great women. And if we get a season 3 and a season 4, there'll be even more great women. I have not seen Sharknado, so I can't comment on it. I would imagine it's crazy and zany and fun. Ha! I do love women. Favorite comics to read? I love The Walking Dead. That was amazing. I thought Why the Last Man was great. A lot of graphic novels. All-Star Superman. I read a lot. What was your inspiration for Legion? Actually, that was Scott Stewart and Peter. I'm blanking. Shank, I think, is his name. Um, he they created Legion. Any special guests this season? Yes, we actually have Alicia Fox of the WWE, which is really exciting. We're following the WWE as our lead-in, and Alicia has come on in the first couple of episodes as a guest star, and she's amazing. She does a really nice job. She's actually a really good actress, and we were all super impressed with her, and she was great. And hopefully she's going to live tweet with us this week as well. Yeah, will there be any new characters in the season? Can you give us any hints? Yeah, there's going to be lots of new characters. There's the leader, New Delphi, Julian. There's a woman in Vega named Zoe. Um, there's a character in Mallory named Laurel. There's a lot of new characters in season 2. Would you consider doing some short stories about the world of people? I would love to. If I had time, I would. I would even love to write a novel about it. That's something that would be really cool. Is Cormac McCarthy's The Road an inspiration? You know, I love his writing. Um, that was a little too bleak for me. Um, I always like to think that in horrible situations, mankind would rise uh, and do a little better than that. That was a little hard to um, to take. So I wouldn't say it's an inspiration. Certainly, post-apocalyptic stuff is. But he's a brilliant writer. Are you or the cast live tweeting the West Coast showing or East Coast? Yes, the entire cast is going to be on that night. I'm gonna I'm going to release it on Twitter and also and on all the actors will as well. But Sci-Fi, Ted Zeri, they'll all release who's going to be on either the East Coast or the West Coast. What's next for you? It's really going to depend on season two, how well it does, and if uh, if um, if we get a season three. If it's season three, then I'll be pouring my energies into that. Um, if not, then I'll be digging into other creative things. Is it hard to keep quiet about spoilers? Not for me. Ha! Hmm. Exactly. Exactly. The vault. It is. That is my office. There's the Cape Town, Los Angeles. There it is. Oh, no secrets. Is there a light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak? What does that mean? Starbucks, I do write at Starbucks when, yeah, if I'm really under the gun and I need like a caffeine infusion, then I'm at Starbucks. Could the show become graphic novel or comic? It certainly lends itself to that. I don't know if there's any, I don't know what the uh, legalities are in terms of the intellectual property. Um, which character would you consider as your personal point of view character? That's an interesting question. I would say, they're all facets of my personality and of the personalities of the writers. Um, so I wouldn't say anyone, uh, probably Michael and Chris and Alex are probably probably the most of my point of view in terms of my personal point of view. Although again, they're all different aspects of. I think we all draw on our different sides of our personality um, to write different characters, and they all do and mean different things, and so I can't say that there's any really singular ones that are purely my point of view. Let's see if there's any other questions. What was the hardest thing about creating this season? It wasn't really hard. I put together, we put together an amazing team of writers. There was 8 of us, 9 of us. And we all just sat in a room and just brainstormed and came up with ideas, and so I can't say it was really hard. It was really fun. And we presented this giant Bible document to the network, and they read it and they responded and loved the majority of it, and there was things that they didn't think were the right way to go. And interestingly, in retrospect, they were right. They were right. Some of the things they asked us to jettison, and asked me to jettison, I think they were right to say. So it was a good collaboration, and it really worked. Who does the weapons training? There's a lot of guys. Our stunt team is amazing, and they really do train the actors how to shoot and fight with swords, and Does the whole writing team write each episode, or do you work on episodes? Yeah, I tend, we all break all the stories that go up on the board, and then they get written as an outline as the group, and then I read them and note them, and then keep kicking it back to them, and then they hone it and hone it and hone it, and then we send it to the network, and then they weigh in, and then one writer will be assigned, or a few times this season, it was 2 writers on an episode, and then they go off and they write it, and then I note it. I prefer to let the writers whose name is on it really write it. I'm not interested in just writing to write, to just change their stuff to a sideways move. I'd rather have it be, them. But I work on every episode if there's things that I need to do, and sometimes there's more I need to do, and sometimes there's less. But as I said earlier, I got lucky with a lot of writers. All my writers really know the show. They can write the show. And so it's nice to see that their words, make it on screen. Do the actors change the dialogue from the script at all in the scene as an ad-lib? Yes, sometimes. we like to get the script version as much as possible, and we usually ask them to do it as scripted. But yeah, there's ad libs, and they come up very often. They say things better than what's written, and they come up with ad libs that are fantastic and additive to the story, and they're funny. So they're great. Did you ever get a lot of change from the network? Have you ever said no to them? They've been really good. I mean, Sci-Fi and UCP, who is the studio. When I look back on this season, they really have let me make the show I wanted to make. And they have notes, and they have a point of view, but I've got to say that they've really respected my opinion and my creativity, and allowed me to make the show that I really wanted to make. So there's been very few times that we didn't agree, and they've really given me a lot of freedom and a lot of reign. So I don't have anything but wonderful things to say about Sci-Fi and UCP. Are you going to see Mr. Shatner's Comic-Con? I'm going to try. And if I can get a picture with that guy, with Captain Kirk, I'm going to do it. A dog for Alex in season 3? No. The reason being is dogs and animals in general are really, really hard to wrangle. So if you imagine an already unbelievably difficult shooting schedule, and then you've got a dog you've got to wrangle, it'd be just too tough. Captain Kirk must live tweet him, and you know what? He must. And I asked him to do the premiere, but he can't because he's got his own thing going on at Comic-Con that night. But I'm hoping that we'll get him, maybe the second episode or the third episode. We'll get him. I would love to do a group pick with the cast. I just don't know if we're going to get it because everybody's all over the place, all over the world. Everybody lives in different places. A lot of them are coming to LA this summer, so hopefully we'll get lots of group pictures then, and we'll see. Don't work with animals or babies. Yeah, that's the famous saying in Hollywood. Yeah. Babies, again, you just never know what they're going to do. So it just makes a difficult day already more tricky. Different continents, exactly. The actors live all over the world. Favorite movie this summer? I loved Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know if that was this summer. Maybe it wasn't this summer. Really loved that movie. It wasn't this summer, was it? No. I've been so busy, I have no idea. Do you have any pets? We're actually going to be getting a dog in October, I think. Are you live tweeting as you or Sci-Fi this season? Yeah, I need to ask them if I'm, because I forgot about that. Oh, Mad Max, I did love that movie this summer. That movie was great. I did enjoy that. Yeah, last season I did the Dominion Sci-Fi handle when I live tweeted. I don't know if they're going to have me do that again or use my own. Yeah, I'll probably. I mean, now that I have my own thing, I probably did it last season because I was brand new and I didn't have any. I think I had 5 followers. I think they'll probably have me do it myself. The swarm of Vauns, yeah, that I'll never forget that. That will haunt me. Oh, thank you, Croatia. Thank you for spreading the word. Allie asked what happened to Claire's baby. Well, you'll just have to find out. Season 2. Who would you cast as father if you had to show him on the show? Ooh, I wouldn't even attempt that. That's like heaven. Thinking about how to cast God would be, you can't even, I wouldn't even go there. Yeah, I think Morgan Freeman's already played it. John Cleese. That would be the comedic version. Did you have somebody in mind for Lucifer? No, it was really going to be just an introduction with the hand on Michael's shoulder, and then we were going to figure that out in season 2. But because I decided not to do that, then it didn't matter. Anything planned for us on Twitter? Vaun clones prayer selfie. Yeah, we're trying to figure that out now. We do want to do stuff every week like we did last time. Um, Natalia came up with a lot of those great ideas, like the prayer selfie, which was an amazing one. We've got to do some more stuff like that because it's fun. It's a lot of fun. If you could live anywhere, where would it be? I would love to live in Cape Town. I love Cape Town. Um, but I like where we live. LA is a wonderful place, and it's nice. It's a little crowded. It's a little too big for me. Um, but it's a great place to live. The food in Cape Town is like off the charts good. Like doesn't taste like anything you'll ever eat anywhere else. Like it really has its own. It's so fresh. It has its own. You feel the difference. Were you an actor first before producing? Really briefly. I did a 5-liner on 90210. I think I was an actor for like 2 years. I have to ask, anything to top the whip scene this season? Yes, I think so. I was a Bajoran on Star Trek, that's right. Yeah. Yes, we will have new characters and new angels. Yeah, Shivani, I saw those pictures. She posted beautiful pics of Cape Town. Yeah, she had an amazing place that she was living in. I think that was right on the water. What is so special about Empyrean steel? Empyrean steel is basically celestial steel. It's steel that's actually comes from heaven. So when they've come down here in bodies, their armor and their swords and their weapons are all basically from heaven. So they're just of different properties. There's just a lot of people laughing.